On our tortuous journey toward balance, we are often assaulted by emotional storms that threaten to tear our souls apart. However, in the midst of this chaos, there is strength that flows in resilience, forming a solid foundation on which we can stand tall even when the storm winds blow. In this video, we will discuss the art of living a happy life, through 12 teachings quoted from Stoic figures and people to find balance in life. Before continuing the video, please support this channel by pressing the subscribe, like button and ringing the notification bell. May happiness, tranquility, wealth and luck always accompany us all. Lesson 1. Finding calm within yourself. Fortitude does not come from outside, but from the depths of our own soul. As Rumi said, the hardest battle is to fight yourself in peace of mind. Exploring within ourselves is the key to finding true calm. Finding calm within in Stoic philosophy is achieving a calm and stable mental state, regardless of external disturbances or unexpected changes. This involves accepting what we can control and what we cannot, as well as realizing that true happiness comes from within, not from external factors. An example of how to do this is by practicing Stoic principles in everyday life. For example, when we are faced with a difficult or unexpected situation, we can shift our perspective to focus on things we can control, such as our own attitudes and actions. By accepting that we cannot control everything in life, we can free ourselves from unnecessary anxiety and worrying. Thus, on the journey of seeking tranquility, we can feel a deep sense of relief when we realize that true happiness can be found within ourselves, and not from ever-changing external situations or conditions. Lesson 2. Become a skillful sailor in the sea of emotions. As sea legend John F. Kennedy said, "Fortitude is not the courage to face the storm, but the ability to keep the helm in the midst of the storm." In a sea of unpredictable emotions, grit is the ability to stick to our own control. Being a skilled sailor in the sea of emotions means having the ability to remain calm and steadfast amidst the waves of emotions that batter us. This reflects Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes self-control and inner calm in the face of trials and challenges. For example, when we are faced with a situation filled with uncertainty or conflict, as skilled sailors in the sea of emotions, we will control our emotional reactions. We will not be carried away by excessive anger, anxiety or sadness, but we will remain calm and rational in considering appropriate actions. In difficult conditions, we will not allow ourselves to drown in a wave of negative emotions. Instead, we will raise the sails of a strong and sturdy mind, so that we can cross the sea of emotions with courage and wisdom. Lesson 3. Create space for reflection. In the endless noise of the world, we need to create space to reflect, think and feel. As Buddha said, "Silence is the true friend who reveals hidden secrets. In silence, we find unexpected wisdom." Creating space for reflection in the context of Stoic philosophies, allocating time and space to examine and understand our thoughts, emotions, and actions honestly and objectively. It is a process of introspection that helps us achieve peace in mind and heart, and allows us to grow and develop personally. An example of this is by taking time every day to sit in silence and reflect on events or situations that have occurred, and how we reacted and responded to them. For example, after facing conflict at work, we can allocate time to reflect on whether our reaction to the situation was in line with the Stoic principles we hold, such as acceptance of things we cannot control and emphasis on things we can. We control, as is our response to the situation. In this case, we may feel confusion or anxiety initially, but by practicing regular reflection, we will feel peace and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Lesson 4. Maintaining realistic optimism. Grit is not about seeing the world through rose-colored glasses, but about maintaining realistic optimism. As Viktor Frankl said, between the series of stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. Maintaining realistic optimism in Stoic philosophy can be defined as the ability to continue to see things from a positive perspective, without ignoring the existing reality. This means that we should not get too caught up in excessive worrying or anxiety, but remain aware of the limitations and challenges we face in life. An example of maintaining realistic optimism is by recognizing that in life, we will face difficulties and obstacles that cannot be avoided. However, we also realize that we have the ability to face and overcome these challenges. For example, if we face failure in a business, we do not fall into despair, but instead see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. In this context, as humans, we feel disappointment and frustration when we face failure or difficulty. However, we also have the power to change our view of the situation and maintain a strong spirit to move forward. Lesson 5. Turning obstacles into opportunities. Grit is about seeing every obstacle as an opportunity to grow and develop. As Winston Churchill said, fortitude is the ability to keep going in the face of setbacks, limitations, and setbacks. Turning obstacles into opportunities is a Stoic philosophical concept that teaches us to see every obstacle as an opportunity for growth and development. This means no longer seeing obstacles as something that stands in our way, but as a starting point for creating something better. For example, imagine we are faced with failure in a project we have worked hard on. As Stoics, we will not be brought down by these failures, but rather see them as opportunities to learn from our mistakes and develop better skills in the future. We recognize that failure is a natural part of the process toward success, and we use those experiences as stepping stones to achieve our goals. In the face of obstacles, we feel strong and full of enthusiasm because we know that every obstacle carries the potential for growth and progress. With this attitude, we become more resilient and able to face challenges with our heads held high and our hearts calm. Lesson 6. Finding happiness in presence. True serenity lies in the ability to enjoy the moment, without getting caught up in regrets of the past or worries about the future. As Lao Tzu said, if you worry about what will happen, you miss what is happening. Finding joy in presence refers to the ability to find joy and peace in the present moment, without being affected by worries about the past or future. This is a very important concept in Stoic philosophy, which teaches the importance of accepting existing circumstances and focusing on the things we can control. For example, we can seek joy in presence by appreciating the natural beauty around us in the moment, without being too attached to worrying about what might happen tomorrow. We can also find happiness in our relationships with others, by giving wholehearted attention to conversations or shared activities, without being distracted by unnecessary thoughts. For example, when we sit in the garden, we feel the wind touching our face and see the flowers blooming all around. We feel peaceful and happy in the moment, without being burdened by thoughts about the work that awaits or problems that may occur in the future. In this presence, we find simple yet profound happiness. Lesson 7. Honing inner acumen. Fortitude is not about insensitivity, but about honing our inner sensitivity. As Brené Brown says, fortitude is not about unreasonable strength, but rather about the courage to show the range of our emotions. Honing inner discernment refers to the process of developing sensitivity and wisdom in dealing with life situations. It involves mental and emotional exercise to increase resilience and balance in the face of challenges. An example of this is by practicing Stoic principles, such as the principles of apatheia, calmness of mind, and ataraxia, calmness of spirit, in dealing with events that cannot be changed. For example, when we are faced with failure or difficulty, we can reflect that things outside our control should not disturb our inner peace. we can train ourselves to accept what happens gracefully and look for lessons that can be taken from the situation to grow and develop better. In the image of our feelings, this process may initially feel difficult and tiring. However, with time and consistent practice, we will experience deep peace and wisdom in facing life. By honing our inner sharpness, we can face various challenges with a calm and wise attitude, without being shaken by the emotional turmoil and uncertainty that surrounds us. Lesson 8. Share wisdom with kindness. Fortitude is not about hiding our wisdom, but rather about sharing it with generosity with others. As Maya Angelou said, Stoicism is about how we choose to act in a changing world. Sharing wisdom with kindness, in the context of Stoic philosophy, refers to the act of providing advice or wisdom to others with good and loving intentions. It involves providing wise insight or advice aimed at helping others achieve goodness or a better understanding of their situation. For example, we can help a friend who is experiencing difficulties by sharing Stoic thinking about how to accept the things that cannot be changed and focus on what can be controlled. In this case, we can say to him, even though this situation is difficult, we can try to accept things that cannot be changed and focus on the steps we can take to overcome this challenge wisely. By offering wise advice or insights with good intentions, we share wisdom with kindness with others, while showing empathy and support. Lesson 9. Accepting human limitations. Grit is not about being perfect, it is about accepting our weaknesses and shortcomings as humans. As Confucius said, when we stop pursuing perfection, we find true peace. Accepting human limitations is a wise attitude that recognizes that as humans, we have limitations that cannot be avoided or changed. This means understanding that there are things beyond our control, and we must accept them gracefully. For example, when we plan something carefully, but ultimately something undesirable happens that disrupts the plan, an attitude of accepting human limitations will help us not be too affected emotionally. Instead, we will focus on the things we can control and take wise steps according to the situation at hand. In the context of Stoic philosophy, this attitude teaches us to control our emotional reactions to things that are out of our control, and to focus on things that we can control, such as our own attitudes and actions. In this way, we can achieve inner peace and wisdom in facing a life full of uncertainty. Lesson 10. Creating strengthening connections. In grit, we find strength in connecting ourselves to others. As Helen Keller said, fortitude is inseparable from cooperation. With each other's support, we become invincible. Creating empowering connections refers to efforts to build relationships that provide support, wisdom, and resilience for all parties involved. In the Stoic philosophical view, this involves recognition of human limitations and respect for the nature of nature that we cannot control. For example, we build empowering connections by observing the universe and understanding that there are things outside our control, such as the weather or the actions of other people. We can strengthen this connection by being wise in responding to situations we cannot control, such as facing failure or uncertainty. Thus, in facing everyday life, we find that creating strengthening connections makes us feel more stable in facing challenges and allows us to grow and develop spiritually and emotionally. Lesson 11. Finding meaning in adversity. Grit is about finding meaning in our suffering and adversity. As Nietzsche said, those with strong footwear can walk through fire. In adversity, we find unexpected strength. Finding meaning in difficulties is a Stoic philosophical concept which teaches that in every difficulty or suffering, there is a lesson or meaning that we can find. When we face trials or difficulties, we not only feel suffering, but also have the opportunity to grow and learn. For example, when we experience failure in a business, we can see it as an opportunity to improve ourselves and develop our mental resilience. Through reflection and introspection, we can discover valuable lessons about our strengths and weaknesses, as well as how we can be better in the future. In this context, as humans, we may feel sad or hopeless when faced with adversity, but we also have the ability to see it as part of the growth and learning process. With a wise attitude and acceptance of the challenges we face, we can find meaning in every experience, even the most difficult ones. Lesson 12. Respect uncertainty. As Marcus Aurelius said, the highest wisdom is to accept the inevitable reality with equanimity. Stoicism is about embracing uncertainty mindfully, without getting caught up in the anxiety of an as-yet unrevealed future. Respecting uncertainty is wisely accepting that many things in this world are beyond our control, and that is a natural part of life. For example, when we face a situation that we cannot completely predict or control, we do not give in to worrying or anxiety, but we remain calm and focused on what we can control, namely our responses and actions. In our feelings, respecting uncertainty may lead to inner calm and wisdom in facing life's challenges. Even though there may be uncertainty all around us, we feel firm and strong in our belief that we can overcome whatever comes, because we understand that uncertainty is a natural part of life's journey. On our journey to balance, we experience unexpected ups and downs. However, with fortitude as a guide, we can navigate the sea of emotions and find true peace within. May each of our steps be colored by deep fortitude, and the spirit to keep moving forward. Even though the road seems winding,